is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council of Borough Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication to the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 3rd, 2025. Notice of the meeting of the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield.
He has had extensive oral surgery, will not be here this evening.
Thank you.
We wish him well.
Councilmember Condos.
Here.
Councilmember Connor.
Yeah, here.
Councilmember Kraft.
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Here.
Council President Wilk.
Here.
Mayor Pearson.
Here.
Thank you.
Let us all rise together for a moment of silence to be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda seeks approval of the minutes for February 6, 2025, a work session, February 6, 2025, a regular meeting. Any comments from council, if not on motion?
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Connor.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Yes.
Council President Wilk.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And next seeks approval for special meeting minutes, the special meeting occurring in an executive session February 6, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second it.
second by Councilmember Connors. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Connor.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Yes.
Council President Wilk.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are ordinances. The first is final reading and adoption. It's ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance of the Borough of Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 200 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park entitled Development Regulations to regulate the placement of backup electric generators within a side yard setback. And this came about as per discussion at past meetings, including but not limited to the meeting at which time a first reading occurred, and also input having come to us with a recommendation from the planning board. Anything else?
I think we covered it, Mayor.
And anything from council on the ordinance? If not, we'll go into the audience. This is final reading and adoption, ordinance 2025-01. Any comments on the ordinance? Hearing none, I would close the public portion. I would entertain a motion from council for final reading.
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Council President Wilk,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Council President Wilk.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Connor.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, final reading and adoption, ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance of the Borough of Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 135-7 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park entitled Permits Required for Use of Beach Rates, and this is adopting and memorializing what was in effect previously, and those rates which were in effect the last summer season. Any other questions, comments from council?
No. No.
Hearing none, we'll go into the audience. Any comments on final reading adoption of ordinance 2025-03? And hearing none, I would close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Connor,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor.
Yes.
Councilmember Condos.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Yes.
Council President Wilk.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is first reading and introduction, ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 364 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park entitled Rental Permits. And as per discussion at several past meetings and the ongoing research review of the estimated cost, time, labor involved for those permits, this slightly elevates or slightly raises rather the fees as per the discussion at the work session as well. Any comments from council on, this is a first reading? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Council President Wilk, second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
motion approved.
And next is first reading and introduction. It's ordinance 2025-05, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 4-4-45.14. And this is consistent with that which has occurred in most every municipality over past years, including but not limited to this one, to make sure that there are sufficient leverage and a cap if need be. Any other comments from council? If not, a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second it.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
The next is a public hearing. It's public hearing on this year's CDBG application project, which is to implement ADA access improvements on Ocean Avenue at the boardwalk. And this, I will turn the floor over to our administrator, Karen, who's worked hard on this, as has the entire council and the committee involved. Karen?
So the community development block grant is typically, it's offered every other year, and typically to help serve either underprivileged or handicapped community, or not communities, individuals. And so we are applying this year to help offset some of the expense with, when we do the boardwalk project, a number of the current ramps have to be redesigned in order to be handicap accessible. Because some of them, like if you look at Island Avenue, it goes straight up like this. So we need to make the ones that aren't currently handicap accessible. So we're applying for this grant just to help offset some of those costs. We have to have a public hearing today, and at the next meeting on March the 6th, we'll have to have a second public hearing, after which we can submit our application on March the 11th.
Anything else from council on that? If not, we'll go into the audience for any comments on the public hearing as per the CDBG application project. Hearing none, I would close the pub.
There's one.
Oh, there is one. I apologize. Edie, you're hiding and late on
Saw
the
your eyes
draw.
though. Do I have it now or do I save it for later?
11th Avenue. How many ramps do we need to fix?
Off the top of my head, I don't know the exact number, but what we are asking for is $60,000 in grant money, which would probably cover 3 of the ramps.
Okay.
And typically, the grants that are between like $30,000 and $50,000 that they actually award. For example, 2 years ago, we got the award, I think it was $35,000 to do the handicap ramp at the community center.
Mhm.
Same grant.
Okay. Now, are these handicap accesses sort of going to be spaced out along the boardwalk? I mean, I know there's one at 7th, and this is going to be at Island. Is there going to be one, I don't know, further down, further up, or?
No, they're all going to be handicap accessible.
All the
So
ramps?
that's why we have to configure where the curb cuts are, because there'll be more switchbacks in order to make the incline the right, I guess, degree to make them handicap accessible.
So ultimately, all ramps will be?
We can't take funding if it's not ADA compliant.
I think for-
Yes, every ramp.
Yeah, so-
Wherever, any ramp that's going to be replaced using
It's roughly 16.
16 ramps, they need to be ADA compliant.
If I,
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking of 11th Avenue, and I'm thinking that's a little bit of a hill.
11, too.
There are gonna be crossbacks going in.
So this is just our boardwalk project, which addresses Fifth Avenue to K Street.
Yes.
Okay,
This just
So
gets you up to the
between Fifth
board.
Avenue and K Street, whatever ramps are currently not handicap accessible will have to become handicap accessible.
as a requirement of the grant that we're looking for.
Well, I think it's just a state requirement too, that we need to start to, that these ramps need to be handicap accessible. It's part of our, and also we're borrowing from the infrastructure bank for that,
Okay.
so it's one of their requirements,
I mean, to be clear, the ramp is just to get to the boardwalk,
yes.
not
Oh,
from the
not to the
boardwalk
beach,
to
we're
the
not
beach.
talking to the beach, we're
No.
talking,
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
from the road up.
Yeah, we're only
Oh,
talking from the road up.
Yes.
Yes, and not to do a crossover, that's a good point, Councilman Kraft.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Edie. Any other public comments for the hearing? Hearing, yes, Chuck.
Chuck Appleton, 215 10th Avenue. That's just about we have certain ramps going to the beach that are handicapped that the Corps of Engineers put into the
Yeah,
program. They didn't do all of them. So in future years, are we looking at, if we want money to fix those, we would be having to make each one of those handicapped? Is that the logic behind it? Usually a store or something, you have, one access point to the building, it has handicap. I'm assuming there's no code requirement, it's just that to get funding to pay for the ramps, so we don't have to pay for them, we go and have them handicap accessible. Is that what I heard? It's not that it's required, but in order to get us the funding to build the 100% of the ramp, then if it's handicapped, we get 100% of the funding? Or is it a code requirement to have them all handicapped? And if that's true, why wouldn't the ones onto the beach all have to be that in the future? Or do they?
in this particular case, the funding is just for the concrete ramps that get you to the boardwalk. To go from the boardwalk to the beach, I mean, that's entirely something different. I mean, we would have to do that on our own dime.
I think, can I
It's not
just
part of this,
paraphrase?
yeah,
I
it's
think
not.
you were asking similar what Edie, I was trying to interrupt before, but I didn't. But I think the question is, are we required by some law, for lack of a better word, to have all of them be handicap accessible, and then a subset of them we're applying for the grant? Or are we not required, but we're taking advantage of the grant? Is that what you're asking?
Right, and then
It's like the
we-
universe.
carrying that over, when we do replace the ones to the ocean, it would
Right,
sound like
yeah.
we have to do handicap for all of those, which we didn't have to do. I thought we'd only have handicap for the ones that go to the ocean on the roadside, that would be handicapped, and that would be the logic.
The plans for the boardwalk replacement project from Fifth to K, ramps that were not handicap accessible, plans call for them to be handicap accessible. That money we want to borrow from the I-Bank. The CBDG money is, so when we reconfigure some of those ramps, where there's a curb cut today, it will end in a different spot. So this grant, the CBDG grant, is to pay for the new curb cut, the handicap accessible, simply the curb cut to get to the ramp.
The majority of the cost is not the curb cut, the majority of the cost is the actual, the rise and run of this huge ramp for handicap, based on the elevation you have to do. And then we're gonna be, not only do we pay for that, but my thing is always sustainability. So over the years, we're gonna have to maintain all that, and it's just such a big cost. Logic to me would be that we would just do the handicap ramps where they have handicap ramps going to the beach. That one would be designated, not every one of the streets. We're gonna be paying a lot of money over the years, I think, maintain, these are massive structures sometimes, depending on the height you have to go up, especially over by mine, it's gonna be really big. There'll be skateboarding down on there and everything else. But it's gonna be, I'd just like to know if it's required by a law and we're doing it, or whether it isn't required by law. It's something that we're just doing so handicapped people can get to the boardwalk and then go up and down at every street. So I think it's more grant driven.
It's, yeah.
And then that's creating a bigger cost to us to, again, it might be other grants or something. But that's a lot of decking to go in. Heights has it in some areas, and pretty massive.
All right, thanks. Any other comments on the CDBG matter? As such, I would close the public hearing, and we would not need a motion at this juncture because that will be subject to a second hearing as well. Next on the agenda, therefore, are authorizations. I'll summarize same. A is Pure Toms River Yoga, Saturdays, May 24th, 2025 to August 30th, 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., J Street Beach. Second, National MS Society Walk 5K, April 26, 2025, 5 a.m. to 2 p.m., parking lot 2, Boardwalk, Decatur Avenue to 12th, and if acted upon favorably, any approval would be specifically conditioned upon receipt of a certificate of insurance as well as Ocean County approval. The next is Seaside Park Yacht Club Family Fun Walk 5K, date June 22nd, 2025, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., location 13th Avenue Boardwalk to Bayview, 5th Avenue Boardwalk to Bayview, Boardwalk 13th Ave to J Street. That too, if acted upon favorably, would include a condition that Ocean County approval is necessary. The next, Ocean County Christian Academy School Walkathon, date May 5th, 2025, 8 a.m. to 12 noon, Boardwalk N Street to 14th. The next, Ocean Harbor House Charity Walk, April 27th, 2025, 9 to 1, Boardwalk Stockton Avenue to Porter Avenue. Next, Seaside Park Softball League, various dates June to August, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., 13th Avenue Ball Field. That too, if conditioned, if it's acted upon favorably, would be specifically conditioned upon receipt of an updated certificate of insurance. The next, Seaside Park Basketball League, various dates May to October, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., 13th Avenue Basketball Court. Again, if acted upon favorably, that would be conditioned upon receipt of an adequate certificate of insurance. The final, Ocean County St. Patrick's Day Parade, March 8th, 2025, 10 a.m. to 2, location J Street, K Street, L Street, M Street, N Street, Lafayette, Decatur, Stockton, and Farragut Avenues, and that approval, if acted upon favorably, would be specifically conditioned upon receipt of an updated certificate of insurance, the receipt of specific Ocean County approval, and also a corrected form indicating the accurate date for the use of the facilities application. Any questions, comments from council on any of the use of facilities? Hearing none, do we have a motion with the various, if acted upon favorably, the various conditions just read into the record?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call?
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
The next item on the agenda is payment of claims, 22594, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the check register bill list for the period of time February 7th to February 20th, 2025. Any comments from council, or if not, a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Condos,
Second.
second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call?
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
The next item on the agenda are the resolutions, and I'll read them in summary fashion. 225.95, memorializing payments for the LoSAP program. 96, authorizing the designated adjustment and/or refund on certain tax accounts. Number 97, appointing James Rankin as lifeguard captain. 98, appointing Jake Steinmetz as beach control manager. 99, a resolution of the Borough Council authorizing the execution of change order number 1 to the professional services contract for municipal prosecutor. Number 100, rejecting responses for Borough Affordable Housing Co-Council for the Borough of Seaside Park. 101, resolution to support publishing legal notices on official government websites as per recommendation of the New Jersey League of Municipalities. 102, appointing a special law enforcement officer, SLEO, for the Borough of Seaside Park. 103, authorizing Remington Vernick Engineers to provide professional engineering services for the reconstruction of parking lots 1, 2, and 3, and submission of an application for funding through the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. 104, authorizing Remington Vernick Engineers to provide professional engineering services for application to New Jersey Infrastructure Bank funding for K Street roadway improvements. 105, authorizing Remington Vernick Engineers to provide professional engineering services for 14th Avenue Stormwater Pump Station project. 106, authorizing T&M Associates to provide professional engineering services for 2025 Ocean County Community Development Block Grant application. 107, authorizing advertisement and receipt of bids for the reconstruction of a portion of the boardwalk from 5th Avenue to K Street within the Borough of Seaside Park. 108, authorizing the transfer of the year 2024 municipal budget appropriations as per the statute NJSA 40, capital A, 4-58. And 109, authorizing a proposal from Kyle and McManus Associates for the provision of affordable housing planning services. Any questions, comments from council on any of the specific resolutions? Hearing none, it's our practice to allow any public comments, if need be, on resolutions that are not required by law. If anyone has any comment on a resolution, if they could give their name and address into the record. Yes, Edie?
Are questions allowed or just comments?
Under the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, comments only, but we actually do extend courtesy and allow questions often in our discussion as time permits if we have some answers.
Okay, Edie Klein, 48 11th Avenue. A couple of things. One, 2025-100, we're rejecting responses for council about the affordable housing. In 2025-109, we're authorizing a proposal for a provision of affordable housing planning services. Can you explain how that fits into what was done by the person that was hired, I think, in December, who then, I'm trying to think who explained it at a recent meeting that instead of 18, we're only 0 to 1. How does this all go together? We're rejecting somebody but hiring somebody else?
They're two different professional services. One's an attorney, one's a professional planner. And I think the meeting you're referring to, we had our special counsel here in attendance explaining some of the, it's a very recently enacted program in New Jersey concerning affordable housing, and that was Jean Cipriani.
That's right.
And she was here and explained the obligation, which we complied with the applicable filed order to show cause and the resolution. So we're in compliance with the recommendation. And the resolution that you're referring to as the professional planner has been employed by Seaside Park for many years. And that firm assists with the next step in the process required by the state.
Wasn't a planner hired, I think, in December? Was that a different?
Same planner.
So what are they looking into now that?
All mandated and required by the state of New Jersey without any funding or any the local property taxpayers have to pay for that obligation. That's the state.
Right.
And comply with the statute, which we have done and are continuing to do. And that planner provided services related to compliance with the first round. And these are steps necessary for the next rounds.
Have we heard back from the state? Is that why we're going to the next round?
I could only play for you that tape. I would get too far into the weeds of the statute trying to explain it. That's why we had Jean Cipriani here, but she explained the process pretty well that evening so we could all, including me, try to grasp it and understand it.
Okay, I was under the, and it's probably my fault, I was under the impression that we now had to wait till we heard back from the state before we went further into this. We have to see what they're gonna say to our response, which was, what Ms. Cipriani, elucidated.
I'd just refer you to that tape. I would not say we hear back from the state necessarily. I wouldn't describe it in that way, but you're correct, generally speaking. We've complied and immediately filed what's called an order to show cause. So we
Right, because we didn't agree
complied.
with what they said. No, I get that. Okay. My other comment is when you, 2025-103, and it talks about RVE services for the reconstruction of the parking lots. I know that the county is going to redo Ocean Avenue, and they're going to strike the central lines and the lanes and whatever, but we got to do the parking spaces along Central Avenue. Are we going to be able to have our parking lots redone so that we can have the firm that's striping the parking spaces along Central do that at the same time?
No.
No.
That should be rebid.
Yeah, this project will be done.
This is on Ocean.
Parking lots aren't going to be done
No,
this
this
summer?
is entirely separate.
Project.
Oh, next fall, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing. I understand 2025-108. I understand that when you don't spend money in certain areas of the budget, you can move on to another area. I just have two questions. One of the transfers is coming out of administration OE. What does OE stand for?
Operating expenses.
Operating expenses, okay. And then the sum of all those that's coming out of certain accounts is going to Police Department S&W, salaries and wages?
Correct.
Yes.
$120,000? Did we hire new people? What's that money for?
Well, I guess it's to make up a shortfall for what was appropriated in the 2024 budget.
Do we have any particulars as to why there was a shortfall?
I believe it was more overtime than expected.
Extra vacation time.
Extra vacation time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other comments on any resolutions? Hearing none, I would close the public comment on resolutions. I'd entertain a motion from council as a consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Rotunda,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And that concludes the written agenda. Does anyone else on council have anything else at this time?
Mayor, I do.
Yes.
Mayor, I have the construction permit activity report for 2024 for the entire year. There were 19 homes demolished in 2024. There were a total of revenue for the building permits, specifically building permits, $233,463. New construction building permits were 21, and building permits, where's my line? I just want to go back to 2023 just to compare. 2024 and $233,463, and in 2023 there was $214,078. So there was an increase in building permits last year over 2023. There were 339 permits in '23 and 374 in 2024. So there's definitely more building going on in '24 than '23. And just a little trivia, there were 727 rental inspections done in a year. I don't know if anyone found that interesting, but that's what it is.
That's all. Thank you, Marty. Anything else from council?
Yeah, Mayor, I want to just bring up, Triborough is having a spaghetti dinner on March 29th, Saturday, March 29th, from 5 to 7. Getting a meatball, salad, bread, soda, water, dessert. It's a fundraiser for that. So I have flyers. I only have two, so I have flyers here. I could leave them down here. If somebody wants to come up and take a picture of or see the information, I'd be happy to share it with you and everything as a fundraiser for Triborough. Actually, it's Triborough, the Seaside Heights Fire Department, and also Seaside Park Fire Department. I'm sorry. It's a fundraiser for all three organizations.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Anything else from council? Hearing nothing at this time, I'll go into the audience if there are any public comments, if anyone has them, if they could give their name and address into the record. Yes, Evie?
I need my own microphone.
Yeah.
48 11th Avenue. I just want to give kudos to the town for hosting the senior luncheons. I was at the luncheon yesterday, and it was a fascinating gentleman who spoke about the efforts that he has created to help people out who have suffered from natural disasters. It started very, very small and has mushroomed into this great big thing. And when he hears of a disaster, he's been everywhere from Vermont to Florida to Georgia to Virginia to Kentucky. He drops everything and goes. So he's there right at the beginning when people who have left their houses with nothing and are walking around kind of in shock before the Red Cross comes, before FEMA comes, before anybody. He is there. He's got trailers of supplies. He plugs in his coffee pot to his generators, and he gets his hot dog thing going so they have something to drink, something to eat. He served as a ranger. Is that Army?
Army Ranger.
Army, okay.
Yeah.
And he kind of figured that he had, kind of done his duty for everybody. But then he got to thinking, he lost his house in Ocean Gate due to Sandy, so he knows what this is like. And he was sitting around during COVID, and he thought, I really need to do something for somebody else. So between 2021, I'll say, and 2020, he figures he has serviced 7,500 people. I would encourage any of you that are able to come to these senior luncheons. The programs are very interesting. Last month it was the Ocean County Department of Health, and they came to talk about basically kind of health things for seniors. But the highlight of that program was she brought giveaways, and you would have thought she was giving away $200 bills. I mean, it was it was keychains with flashlights, and it was little pill boxes, and everybody's like, oh, I want one of those. But the lunch is fabulous. It's also great socialization, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And to piggyback on that, I saw on the Facebook page where the concept of CLASS is being bantered around, and I think that's also a great idea. And I would offer one suggestion, and that would be elementary Spanish, because I would sign up to take that. So thank you for having these things for the residents. I think it's really important.
Thank you, Edie.
Thank you, Edie.
Certainly, an added note on that, I want to thank Joe Toth, our recreation director, and also Gina Zier and Joe. Their committee put a lot of work. They get these speakers, and Joe, obviously, as we know, is employed by Central Regional School District. That individual is extremely well thought of, not just countywide, statewide, and beyond, as you correctly note. He's a central regional teacher, and when disaster strikes, he drops everything and goes right to the sites. He has established this nonprofit, and a terrific guy, done a lot for, so you're absolutely right. So thank all those that put that together, that program. I know there's working on some others too, but you're correct.
And I just also, Mayor, if I could, I want to thank Councilman Kraft and his wife Pat, because they're the ones who pick up the food, they order the food, they bring the food. Councilman Connor's there at every senior luncheon, so.
Yeah, it was a
It's a
team
total
effort.
team
A
effort.
lot of people put a lot of work into that one behind the scenes, so a lot of thanks all around. Any other public comments? Yes, Mike?
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue. Actually, I just want to thank Councilman Wilk and Councilman Connor for giving us some information, however droll and humdrum it might be. And I would like to encourage any of the council that are on any committee, that if there's any information to report, that you do like Councilman Wilk and Councilman Connor did, because we take our time to come here because we really care and we're interested in what's going on in town. And if you have any information to impart, it goes a long way for us, having more respect for you and the work that you're doing. That's all.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
Any other public comments? I know along the same line, a lot of thanks go out to another team effort this week, and that includes Council President Wilk, Joe Connor, the whole council was involved, and our administrator, Karen Crone, did a lot of work. Those of you and Alex and the audience, residents pointing out immediately, we know we had a very, very unique tide situation. And Chuck, it was a team effort of the community, everybody pointing out a opportunity for all of us to take advantage. And we did just that. Everyone put together we've got drone footage now, we've got photographs, we have on-site photographs, and all of that has been now submitted to several federal agencies, including, in particular, the Army Corps of Engineers. It's gone to our SAV consultant, who's immediately complimented the town. He emailed back just this afternoon and said what a fine job. The point is, this tide situation gave us an opportunity to look at the actual sandy bottom of the bay, such as it never has occurred in recent years. That was done as per our residents, as per the council. Everyone said it demonstrated the fact that there was not just a little SAV underwater, known as eelgrass and the like. There was none in the area, and it's quite obviously it's dormant in the winter. We know that the remnants are there, should be there. If in fact there were any, there was none, and that had been demonstrated by Dr. Farrell convincingly through a walking meeting that occurred back 2 summers ago. Unfortunately, the federal agencies change personnel and they change directives sometimes. They change their mission sometimes. It's unfortunate that that meeting wasn't videotaped and recorded in its entirety. But that being said, we've now got that footage, everything, to the agencies and asking them to reconsider the stance that they've taken, that we were required for this very, very extensive and very costly SAV mitigation plan. So that is in the works, thanks to a total team effort. And last but not least, but I'll give him a key going, our sheriff, Mike Mastronardi, immediately brought to us their drones, and they assisted, and they too were well aware that FEMA is interested in this, and it's a protection standpoint for our health and safety, to protect the New Jersey natural gas line, to protect properties, to protect Ocean County's own Ocean Bayview Avenue. They own it, and so the county and particularly the sheriff helped a great deal with drone footage, brought the drone right over our entire bayfront. So thanks to everybody. Following up on the theme moments ago, I think that's correctly noted. So,
Mayor, I forgot one thing.
yes.
I forgot to thank the police, you mentioned drones, and I forgot to mention the police department and the neighborhood watch meetings. Because the most recent one, there was a member of the sheriff's drone.
That was Mike Buster and I's team, that was their drone.
It was
Yeah.
so interesting, we even had a demonstration outside. So the neighborhood watch is another thing that is great for the residents. That's
It is. Anything else? Anything from council? If not, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft, second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And thank everyone for coming out.